We are glad to come your way one more time with Ask the Counsellors. And if there's a first time you are watching us, this show is tailor-made for you to bring solutions, to bring you answers, and to bring you the keys you need to make your marriage work. In the studio, we have counselors who have had decades of marital experience. If you put it together, we have over 100 years of experience right here in the studio. You don't need to struggle or suffer in your marriage anymore. These counselors have the keys and the solutions to help your marriage blossom and work. This evening, I'm your host, Dr. Selassie Ajin Asare. This evening, we have in the studio Reverend Mike Ankuma. We have Reverend Cecilia Jo Dickens with us. And very soon I'll be introducing another panelist on the show as well. This evening we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and we are live on Precious Television and on KFM TV. And we are across the length and breadth of this nation, across the continent and the other continents of the world. Wherever you are watching us from, tonight is a question and answer section. And you can have any question on your mind answered by the counselors. You can send your questions to us on 020-343-87100, 020-343-8710. If you are watching us from outside Ghana, the country code is +233-20-343-8710. You can text message us your questions or WhatsApp us with your questions, and our team would pick them up, and then would have the counselors help in answering those questions. If you are watching via Facebook or YouTube, you can just type out your question on the message thread, and once again, our team would pick it up. So this evening, I'm going to go straight to your questions that have been coming to us over the last couple of weeks, as we discussed reasons why marriages break, and for the next 2 weeks we'll be looking at your questions and trying to answer them. As your questions keep coming in, at some point we would read the live questions. At some point also in the show we would open the phone lines to hear from you and have you interact directly with the counselors. The first question I have this evening is from Jessica from Mampong, and she says, I recently met a man at church and he has a girlfriend overseas. Along the line, we became very close friends, and he expressed his affection. But I told him to concentrate on his relationship with his girlfriend. I've fallen in love with him. I feel very free around him. However, he traveled just recently overseas to further his studies and was sent to the same campus as his girlfriend. What a coincidence. Mm-hmm. Though they are on the same campus, he keeps on calling me and still expresses his emotions. We are both confused. Please advise me. We are both confused. Please advise me. So, Reverend Ankuma, what's your answer to Jessica from Mampong?
I think that, well, first, let me look at the kind of girlfriend. In our time, there was, when we say girlfriend, it means we're having sex and things like that. But today, we have the kind of a girlfriend where we are believers, we are working together, no sex and things like that. Now, if it's a girlfriend kind where they're having sex, the relationship wouldn't go anywhere. They are just, you see, there's a certain kind of supposed love that comes by association. You move with somebody, he talks well, and that kind, and that's the kind of love that's between them. Because when the man said first that, I'm just saying, oh, you have a girlfriend, why don't you concentrate on him? So apparently that time there was no feeling for him. And as they talk, and especially on phone, hello, how are you? Before you realize your love has gone. So I will advise her that he should forget about it. Now he's out there with the girlfriend. The possibility of they developing, that the one developing strong is very great. And so he will be deceiving herself, staying here thinking that the man may leave the girlfriend and come to marry her and things like that. So if you're me, you should have perhaps decide to cut the number off so that there will be no that communication to mess up with her emotions and try to find somebody else.
Okay. All right. This says, We were introduced to each other by a very good pastor. We got married with so many issues in the marriage. Now, the pastor doesn't want to help bring sanity into the marriage because he fears he will lose his relationship with the man. What do I do? I'm going through hell in my marriage. I'm about leaving my matrimonial home. My husband is a pastor, and he does not love me again. Should I die in the marriage? We are both in one of the best churches in Ghana. The punishment is too much. I'm a woman of 57 years. Reverend Ajo, what's your counsel to this lady?
I think that the pastor also has a senior pastor, and they are already married, and she has stated her age, 57 years. And if she has been calling the pastor that introduced them, and now the pastor doesn't want to be of help to them, he should go to, I don't think he is, he said he's one of the leading churches. That means there's a senior pastor to the husband. She should try and talk to a senior pastor or a marriage counselor in the church, because it looks like she's pining away in the relationship, and all that they need is someone to talk to them. And like Bishop Akron always says, you should have a mentoring couple, somebody you can trust, you can run to with your problems. And I think if they have been married for some time, she has been so quiet for a long time, which shouldn't be. Now she's hurting in the marriage, so she should take it another step. She should go further with the.
Okay.
She should let somebody know.
Okay. All right. This is from Konedu from Kumasi, and she says, "Hello, please. My problem is I've been dating a guy who is a doctor for about 4 years now. Whenever I bring the marriage issue, then he changes the topic. He will set a date, but when the time is due, it's a different story. It has happened about 4 times now, and because of him, I have rejected 5 men who seriously wanted to marry me. Excuse me. He sometimes forces me to have sex with him, and now he's saying when we get married, we won't stay in the same house because of our jobs. And I don't know if this is real love.
Wait, this is not real love. There are signs that shows that this marriage, even when it gets in, it will be trouble. But the problem that she has that even though there were these signs, and she have opted a long time, she has deceived herself that perhaps when she marries, everything will be okay. And that normal, that is the deception. Most marriages that had problems, you realize that while they were going through, there were a lot of red flags. This one, plenty of red flags. You are still,
what are some of the red flags you pick out?
No. I mean, the fact that whenever I bring the issue of marriage, he changes the topic. So the guy, he's able to make you have sex with him. So he's just using you. He's just using you. And you should know that this man does not really love you, but I'm sure he has got very good raps. Oh, hello.
And the reputation as a doctor.
As a doctor. That kind of thing. When it comes around, oh, nipa doctor no aba. And people feel proud about that. Oh, nipa your doctor, that kind of thing. And using that to, as it were. But this relationship, we're not going. So please, he should master strengths and say, no. This thing, no. Doctor, let me pray for God to give me somebody.
Already you have lost 5 other suitors.
Sure.
So the lady should go on. Yeah. She move on. She should move on.
And I think, Reverend Ajo, you normally say something. If within the first 6 months,
yes,
the guy doesn't show you where you are going, yes, it's better to walk away.
Yes,
all right. Okay. Hannah says, I am 22 years and I've been in a relationship for 2 years. The guy is always asking me for sex and money without asking how and where I got it from. He's an unbeliever, and right now I'm fed up with him. Please help me. Please, I am waiting. Should I end the relationship or stay for a while?
She says her name is what? Hannah. Hannah, aren't you too young to be thinking of serious relationship? And you're already in sexual relationship. At age 20, you started having sex with this young man. Are you not in church? What are your values? What are you looking for? Where is your life going? And you are making that small money you are making from your parents, you are giving it to someone to just use you on top. Anna, pursue life. Go forward in life. Look for something. 22, what are you doing? You might have finished your first degree. Some people finish at 19. But there are other things you can pursue. Don't hang around somebody who is just using you and taking money from you. So, my daughter, please leave the relationship, seek God, and build your life for the future. It's not time for you to be taking care of a man as yet.
All right. This is Pastors. I have another question. Is it good to keep secrets from each other? I mean, is there any way I can share my secrets with my wife? There are some issues that are confidential. How do you handle those confidential issues? So, is it good to keep secrets should there be anything like secrets between a husband and a wife?
At times it depends. At times it depends on your work.
Okay.
At times, as a pastor, there are things you can share with your wife. There are problems in church, and you share with your wife, he gets discouraged and things like that. Apart from that, if it is not a kind of a professional secret, which should not be shared, personally, I don't see any secrets which cannot be shared with your wife.
If the person's level of emotional stability is not strong, it could be just normal issue by catching him and he's going to fight.
Like the case we had sometimes.
So then if you know the level of the person, either husband or wife, then you can protect the person.
Okay. So you can keep a secret for a protective reason.
If it's for that purpose, I think you have to be wise.
Okay.
The word is wisdom.
But
and you should know the emotional intelligence of your spouse.
Having said all that, I think the underlying factor is what the Reverend said. They were both naked and be transparent and we're not ashamed, so we should be open. But it depends on what I can take.
Are they married?
Yes, so it says
with my wife.
The wife.
With my wife, so they are married.
So Philip says, please, I just want to ask, does it mean that if you don't have money, you don't have to marry? I think this is in relation to probably something we discussed previously. Does it mean that if you don't have money, you don't have to marry? What are your thoughts on Philip's question?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes. If you're a man, you don't have a place to sleep. You don't have a work you are doing. Find a job to do. Get a place, one room, self-contained, somewhere, before you can go and trouble somebody's daughter.
What about one room compound house?
Yes.
Well, in some cases, compound house is, depending on who you are. Compound is okay, but at least I'll have somewhere that you are sleeping and have a regular income, because marriage is responsibility. Otherwise, and on the other hand, you shouldn't wait until you have a lot of money, you have car, and that kind of thing. So not having money is relative. It's relative.
Yes.
It's relative. You don't have to wait until you have all the things in the world before you marry. No, you can marry, and the two of you can start life, acquiring property. So it depends on what you mean by don't have money.
Totally agree. But being the man asking the question, of course, greater responsibility of keeping the home comes upon him. So you must get some earnings. Adam was busy before, I'm sure Eve was brought, so you must get something to win.
Okay. So what if it was a lady asking the question? Would the answer have been different?
Yeah.
It would have been a bit different.
Okay.
You are coming to support and help. But the man must be the pillar.
Okay.
But I want to believe that Philip is not asking whether you like Osofo said, is relative. Having money is relative. Some people believe that if you have all the monies to buy a car, to buy a house, and that is what makes you somebody who is successful, somebody who has money. But life begins at a point. Like they've all said, if you can take care of your, in contest, at a particular age, you are starting life, you don't need all the monies. You know, you need the one that can keep you and a woman. That with the earnings you would have constantly, you can start life from a point. Because some people started life from one bedroom. Today they have a big Perez room. So it's progressive. And if you have a good vision and a goal, you know where you are going. And you can start from a point with a small, but it will grow to become big.
If you are watching us, this is a live edition of Ask the Counsellors, and we are answering your questions that have come in over the past couple of weeks as we dealt with reasons why marriages fail. These are some of the questions that still came in out of the discussions that we had. But as the show goes on, if you have any questions bothering your mind, there's anything happening in your marriage, probably it just started today and you feel, I need some clarity, I need some perspective as to handle this issue, you can send us a text message or WhatsApp on this number, 020-343-8710, 020-343-8710. You can send us a text message or WhatsApp. If you're watching us via Facebook or YouTube, you can type out your questions, and our team would pick up those questions and we'll have the counselors answer them. If your question is so long that you can't type them out or text them to us, at some point we would open the phone lines and have you directly interact with the counselors. This is from Rona, and she says, "Good evening. Please, how do I convince my partner to marry me after having 2 kids for him?" How do I convince my partner to marry me after having 2 kids for him? Bishop Akon, do you have any perspective on that?
Yeah. You sat down, I guess it's a woman talking.
Yeah, it's a woman.
You sat down and had 1 child and had a 2nd child. And when that happens, except the man who is wise and taking counsel, he thinks he's gotten you cheap. I think at that point, get authorities to come in, or get your pastor to call the man, or somebody the man respects, he listens to call the man and bring the man home, because it is time for the man to complete the family and still have the home. Somebody must call him to that attention, and I think if you take that step, it will be good.
I'm sure the two of them are born again, or they are in a good church. Because if you are in a born again, you are in a good church, immediately some of these things come. Pregnancy come and children one. The pastor, people around you will say, no, you go. We'll even suggest and push you to let me come to regularize the thing. So if 2 kids have come and you are not thinking about how to convince him, it means that you are not really born again. So this is a Christian program. Please find God, go to church, give your life to Christ, and regularize your relationship with Christ. At times, when you do those things, some of these things begin to fall into place. But you can even take the guy to church. He also gets born again and that kind of thing. And then you all go to your pastor. There have been cases like that. No, there was one case where they were in church. And with the preaching of the bishop now, they realized that, so they came, they were staying together. They came and they did the blessing. I mean, I remember in an interesting story that they said that since you are not married, you are not supposed to do the thing again. And they said, "Oh, so far I can do it." And he told me later on that night, when they didn't, you have to wake up and go around the building. Finally, they are in church. Today, when I see them, they are married nicely, they are in church, and they are doing very well in church. So they should think about their spiritual life.
And what are the parents of the lady doing? These are some of the things that parents should come in. Even if it's the man that is taking care of you, it is the normal thing. It is very important that you are married properly. You were given birth to in a home. You had parents take care of you. You just pack your things and go and live with a man, having 2 children with him, and the parents are sitting down there just observing. No, the parents should take a step to make the man responsible for what?
The parents of both sides.
Yes, of both sides. Yeah, you don't do things like that. Of course, there's some, where I live, there are a lot of people who are just cohabiting and they have 4, 5, 6 children and nobody is talking about anything. But if I believe that these are Christians, like you said, if they go to church, then they should just be serious about it.
And at times, Pastor Joe, at times we live in a times where the lady was staying in Brahabawe, left there, came to stay with his sister at Accra.
Accra, yes.
So, and the sister too has her own challenges and problems. So, for all that you know, the parents are also somewhere. That is where.
But you have heard that your daughter is giving birth, whether you are in Brahabawe or what. You don't care. Don't you care that at least the woman should be married properly? So I think both parents should be involved.
Michael from Taifa says, good evening, pastors. Please, my question is, what is the meaning of true love? In the family, who is supposed to love, the husband or wife? I'm asking because in marriage, they say one has to behave like a fool. So let's take his first question. What is true love? What is true love?
You see, when we overemphasize love in marriage, we err. Because if you look at the first context of marriage, so shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one. Is that not right?
One flesh, yeah.
There's no love stated there. You know, so there is an understanding of commitment. So the feelings that we have, we call it love, that we can sometimes put our finger on, brings us together. And there's a certain understanding that when we hit marriage, we must have. Because it takes how the two of us can live together. It took a woman out of a man, brought her to the man. And so now it takes how the two of us will live together under one roof and not kill each other and make each other happy. That is what it takes. That's what we call love, fine. Maybe commitment love, agape, or what kind of love.
Yeah, just to add to what Bishop is saying, true love is a decision. What Bishop was saying, when I see you, something is dreamy thing, is there. At times, that brings us the first attraction. But when you decide to marry, you understand that true love is a decision that I love or whatever, or I'm married to this person, and I decide to love the person. And that true love is maintained by consciously doing actions of love to sustain it. True love doesn't automatically grow. It grows with one person, each of them deciding that because I love this person on a daily basis, I consciously do actions and words and actions that will make the person happy, and that will make the person let me say like how to make the person happy. That is what true love is. It is not the feeling, because I was telling some 2 people this afternoon that this feeling you are getting when you marry to go, and they were shocked. Hey, are you sure you to go? But the truth of the matter is that thing they call love, which is a feeling, is normally not sustainable. If a decision like a commitment to the relationship is not there.
The understanding of what love is stems from us understanding why we even want a particular person. And the Word of God has made us know that for God so loved the world. And number 2, he said, a man should love the wife. That is a manifestation of love. And now you would want to know, how did Christ love the world? He sacrificed himself. He gave himself. He did things not because the world did it for him. That is what we are translated into marriage. You, the man, should know that I have gone for somebody to be part of me, because everybody knows the cardinal rule in marriage: love your wife, woman submit. But we emphasize and amplify the woman submitting to the man more than the man loving the wife. And that is the honors of marriage. When you are able to respect your wife, you are able to care for your wife, you are able to prioritize your relationship and trust your wife, definitely the woman will submit. Wise men know how to love their wives, to care for their wives. So, and the woman too, to submit is an act of love.
Exactly.
Yes.
So,
I from what I've been said, I'm being tempted to take this. Maybe I don't. You know, most of the love is New Testament language, and it's translated from another language to our language.
Yes.
And it could not mean the same thing. You know, love could mean erotic. It could mean friendly love. It could mean brotherly love, family love. It could mean caring love. It could mean commitment.
It could even mean lust.
Erotic. It could go there. So the key thing is, what kind of love sustains the marriage? We have heard that feelings of love are not there always. It's unsustainable. So what has kept people together for 35 years, 36 years, 40 years? Is it the feelings of love? It's a decision they took to do certain things.
Yeah.
And love is what love does.
That's right.
Not just what love feels or says. For God so loved that he did something. So if I say I love a woman, what decision am I taking that from the day we commit, I'm going to do to keep her blessed and happy around me? That is what it is.
So can you draw the conclusion that as a man or even as a woman, you can marry anybody you see, provided you are willing to be committed to the person? Would that be a good conclusion to draw? Because
I think there should be an element of attraction.
That's right.
Which is not there.
Okay.
We either find a wife. It should be something about when Adam saw Eve. I mean, like, that kind of wow thing was there. And that element should be there by all means. But after that, what next is the issue.
so there must be a gear shift onto a higher.
So you don't just get attracted physically. That is the attraction. We should be emotionally stimulating to one another, psychologically. I always say this: it will be difficult for, on the other hand, you who like academics, marrying somebody who is not that inclined. Everybody has what they are attracted to spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally. So that is the base. Something attracts you to somebody else. So that is what will keep it. Somebody is attracted to a slim person, whether you like it or not. Even if the big person is given to him freely, he will not. You see, we have different...
Then the slim person gains weight.
Yes.
For another day.
That is attraction. The first attraction is not to a big woman. Yes, the first attraction.
So I've seen people enter into union with love.
Yes.
But if they don't know what to do afterwards, they kill themselves.
Yes.
That is true.
That is true.
They destroy each other, become enemies.
Yes.
But they started with love. But we should take this in more.
You see, to take it, there are occasions where people, unbelievers, went to club and got drunk small, and then before they realized they had sex and that kind of thing. Everything was done under the influence of alcohol, and then they realized that, hey, Charlie, the thing me and you do.
Something has come up.
It has come up. And they somehow, perhaps because of family name and to keep things, they decide to marry. If those people, that's what I believe, if those people decide whether the initial thing was right or wrong, Charlie, whatever we do, we are married, though. So let's make sure that this relationship works. That relationship will work.
Yes, it's a decision.
People married without even knowing. Parents contracted marriage.
Yes.
Picture.
Yeah. You see?
All right. So Akos is watching us from Agbozome, and she says, "Good evening, counselors. Please, can I tell my mom I'm pregnant, and ask her to talk to our pastor for us to perform the traditional marriage, since both parents of mine are leaders in the church, to prevent shame. The pregnancy is 4 weeks, and we are ready financially.
The partners.
Yes. So
they are ready.
Yes. So Akos, so her parents are leaders in the church.
Okay.
Would it be okay for her to tell her mom to talk to their pastor to perform the traditional marriage to prevent any shame, since she and the guy are ready financially?
What I would say is, different churches have different rules there. Some churches will say we will do it undertone, underground, not public. Some churches too will say we will wait for you to deliver before we can do anything. I don't know what you will say. I'll leave it there.
Well, I think that some of these cases, they can tell the mother and do traditional, an office wedding. You do the traditional wedding. Then the same day when they finish, they pack their things, come to office, do a wedding, do the announcement. It's office wedding, that kind of thing. Bishop called regularizing it for them. There are times some of these cases come and you tell me, regularizing it for them. I mean, they've done the wrong thing. But putting the things together for them to marry is better than leaving them to continue to fornicate and things like that.
Like in her case, they are willing to marry. The two are willing to marry. And so what you are saying, like, just let's regularize it. It's feasible. But there are some, like, they just did it, but they are not ready to marry each other. They don't feel attracted to each other. I think what the lady should do first.
So they don't feel attracted. What made them do the thing?
At times, well, we are not all of the same faith level.
Go ahead.
Then we are not all of the same faith level, and so we don't have to pressurize people into certain things, like what used to happen in my father's time. When you just impregnate a woman, like my parents, they were forced to stop school. My dad had to be forced to stop school, go and look for money and come and take care of. But now these people are ready to marry. So what can happen is, if she has not told the mother, she should just let the mother know. The mother, 2 heads are better than one. But now you are asking us. We don't know what pertains in your church. There are some, like Bishop was saying, like in some churches, they will grant the two of you. And when the baby comes, then you can even be asked to have the engagement. What they can do is knocking. And it happened to my own nephew, so I know what that particular church does. So they grounded them. They penalized them before the whole church. Then they had to sit back. Then we only went to do the knocking. Then after delivery, they now did the engagement and the blessing of the marriage.
So this
it depends on the church.
Pastor Joshua says, "Good evening. Please, my question is, I have some members and they were fornicating and had 2 children before joining the church. I took them through teachings on marriage. Now the lady is pregnant again. Please, what should I do? When she gives birth, is it good for me to do the outdooring? Please help me."
So that's the question you asked.
I didn't get the question.
Okay. So a couple joined, were not married, were living together. And they had 2 children before joining his church. He took them through teachings on marriage, trying to get them to marry.
Not married, had 2 children.
Yes.
Before they joined the church.
Now, the woman, as he taught them, they didn't get to the point where they were married. Now, the woman is pregnant again. and he's asking what he should do. When she gives birth, is he allowed to do the
Can I
outdoor?
ask you a question? When they came and they were going through counsel, were they sleeping in the same room?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Of
sure.
course, what will happen?
No, at times, you see, at times some of these things, especially with new churches. I have a friend who started a new church. It has a lot of these issues where they went out do evangelism and bring people to church, and say bring your wife to church. They bring their husband, and they realize that they are not married. They are just staying. They are just cohabiting, and they've come to church. You won't say go because you are not married. We don't. And like he said, because they were living together, pregnancy. I think that there's no problem with he going to name the child. I don't think there's any problem with it. Only that when these things are happening, people are there. Make it clear that these things that we are doing, that is not how it normally should have been done. But the way it is, the child is innocent. We are naming, but please, we are emphasizing that as at the earliest possible time. Regularize it. Go and make sure that you marry the boy.
Okay. Sabina from Cape Coast says, good evening, counselors, and she's watching live. Please, would you advise a lady of 26 to marry a 35-year-old man who is an illiterate? So probably Sabina is educated. She's 26, so that's a 9-year gap. The man is 35, and the man is not as educated as she is. What will be your counsel?
Not as educated or not educated.
So you said, okay, so illiterate, so that means not educated.
The challenges they will have will be enormous. And the man will be insecure and be complaining about the woman everywhere she turns. I would, if they're not married, I would not advise so.
So what if the man is in a place of wealth? Does it change the dynamics in any way?
That is
Probably he's a businessman.
It will be worse.
Okay.
For me, even when the man decides that I want to improve myself, it could be a decision about whether he can do it or not. So for me, if they are not married, except that they are very certain God is there.
no. There is something that is making me add this question. That like perhaps the man has money and he's enjoying the money and that kind of thing. Perhaps and that is why even the desire to you educated marrying somebody of that age. There is something
holding you down.
Yeah, there is something that he has seen.
Could it also be that waiting for a while, nobody is coming?
Oh, 20 horse.
26.
26, you haven't waited for a while.
Very young.
26, you are young.
She's enjoying the car at the moment.
Yes.
I'm sure
But the man
nothing.
has promised car, promised house, and things like that.
Patricia from Sunyani says, I am 33 years old and no man has shown up. I have prayed, fasted, yet still it seems God is silent. Please, what should I do as a Christian? What should I do as a Christian?
Keep serving the Lord.
Keep praying. and keep using your faith. I tell ladies waiting there that there is a way to wait actively and to wait passively. Waiting passively is, I'm waiting upon God. And, let's see what God will do. Waiting actively is waiting in faith. Every day you wake up in the morning, you thank God for your partner. You thank God for the fact that God is going to be a partner. When you do that, because confession works, anytime you speak positively concerning your situation, something happens. So if you are waiting, wait well, wait possibly, sow seeds. I mean, there are meetings, people come, go. There was a lady. There was a lady in church who married, and then we were doing a program like I said. What the wife was at, the wife was working with Bishop. One day we went to Bishop in a certain program, and then something touched that man, his salary, to everything, put into the salary. Oh God, I want a husband. The same week, he met a husband. So there are things you do to make.
I'll pick up on this angle. I've seen severally people who are not married growing but active in church. And somebody will recommend them to somebody. By the time you realize at their age somebody is coming to marry them. And strangely, the few I know, they realize they're going to London, going to America. And for me, I think serving God and even evangelizing the right way could be rewarding. Plus what
and what is your passion? What is your passion? It looks like all that you are bothering God about is, God, I want a husband. Meanwhile, God may be looking for your heart. God is seeking your heart. God wants you to get close to him. God wants an intimacy with you. God wants you to serve him in a different way. If you make God your priority, he would also seek to serve your priority. But now it's like, all my attention is to have a husband. I'm 35. So if you are not very careful and you become passive, anything that comes, the enemy can also bring someone to derail your service even to God. So she has to prioritize her relationship with God, and God would also.
So if I'm a lady and I'm growing, probably my 30s, mid-30s, late 30s, and I'm not getting married, should I be worried? What posture should I be in?
It's very important as you have asked that question, because for most of them, the posture they take drives even men away.
That's right.
They see you and they realize that I'm your problem. The way you have make your face because you are waiting, and no man is coming when you come to church. The way you are dressed, the way. What is the man there when you look at you and you have a problem and you want to? So have a posture of being lively, like the serving God, as if that you don't really care. Okay, but don't let people think that you that kind of thing. Any man that come closer and they look at that thing, so that push people more away. Be happy, serve God, thank God. At love, marriage is not everything in this world.
That's right.
Your relationship with God is very important. Educate yourself. The other day, a lady in church, I was worrying about her and that kind of thing. Great. The last time they came for counseling, not knowing that while he was waiting, he has done his BSc, he has done his MBA, he's now a charter. He said, hey! And now because of that, he has got somebody who is at that standard. And now, even though he waited, he's married. He's not going to marry, and it's okay. You see,
That time is God's time. God's time also comes. Because I believe you're talking about the same lady I'm going to talk about. I asked her, where you don't sit in the church. You are not in the church auditorium. So you are hid somewhere. Where did this guy who wants to marry you come from?
I think the same girl.
How did he see you? Because you're never in front. But here you are, somebody has seen you. So like he's saying, build yourself, be confident, be happy. Don't make marriage your priority. Make God your priority.
Can I borrow this thing? Okay. I would suggest again that that kind of person waiting for marriage should be able to get to know people and be free with people. Not be too attached with somebody, but be nice to people. Because some of these people are very rude, very inward, but be open and create links. Somebody may be married, but would like you and recommend it to somebody.
So I'll read this question and
when you close from church, don't go early. Make friends before you go.
I'll read this question and open the phone line. This says, good evening, counselors. It's been 3 years since my husband's infidelity. I still have trouble trusting him. Please help me because it's difficult for me. If you are watching us and you want to interact, probably your question is so long, you can't send it via text or WhatsApp. You want to interact directly with the counselors. The number to call is 0207 10,000. That's 100001. 0207 100001. If you are calling from outside Ghana, the country code is +233 207 100001. Call us and interact with the counselors.
It's God.
Okay, we have a call on the line. Looks like we're just waiting to. All right, okay. So, good evening. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. kindly reduce the volume of your TV set or your device, and go ahead with your question.
Okay. Hello?
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Please, my name is Doreen,
Okay.
and I'm calling from the Rotary.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Doreen.
Please, Doreen,
Yes.
calling from the Rotary.
Okay, go ahead, Doreen.
Okay. Please, I want to thank the pastors this evening for how far they are bringing marriage issues. They are helping us a lot.
Okay, Doreen, it looks like we lost you there. It looks like the line dropped. But please call us back. We'd love to hear from you. We want to restrict the phone calls to questions only. If you have comments, you can just text them or message them to us. We'll read the comments. But just so that those who have questions can interact with the counselors, please leave it to questions alone. If you have questions, you can call us. Okay, we have another call on the line. Good evening. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. And we are live on Ask the Counsellors. Please reduce the volume of your TV set or your device. Okay, the line dropped again. Yes, so 3 years since infidelity, she's finding it hard trusting her husband. Please help her because it's difficult for her.
For me, he should realize that in life things happen. And when something happens, you can't do anything about it. Accept it. Forgive yourself. Forgive the person, and go and go ahead in life. It's like death of a loved one. Nobody expects that somebody should die, but in life it happens. Loved one dies, children, wife, husband, and when it happens, take it over. Nobody expects. Nobody wants the wife or the husband to cheat on him, but it happens. When it happens to you, it shouldn't end your life.
So begin to see it like, sorry.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's not something that recurs. It's happened only once.
Yes, from her.
3 years back.
3 years back. Marriage is giving and forgiving.
Yes.
And that's, like I said, it's part of life. And for me, the one who forgives, it's not what happens to you in life that really matters, how you respond to what happens. So the one who forgives, tomorrow your children will be praising you. Something terrible happened, but my mommy stayed and forgave. So I think that we should learn that art of giving and forgiving. It's part of marriage.
All right. Good evening. It looks like we have another caller on the line. Tell us your name and where you are calling from, and go ahead with your question.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Tell us your name and where you are calling from. Please reduce the volume of your TV set. Where? Upper West?
Upper West.
Okay, all right. Your name?
My name is Eva.
Eva, okay. Go ahead with your question.
Please, I want to know, I just married to my husband 4 years ago.
Okay,
We have a child, but he was a Muslim.
okay,
He agreed that he was going to be a Christian. He was started coming to church. We got married. Then the uncle stood and said he will not be a Christian again. And he accepted that I alone should be going to the church. Then 1 year time, he wanted me to give birth again. And I asked if he blessed the marriage for me to be going to the church. While he is a Muslim, he didn't agree and wanted me to give birth before. And I realized that giving birth to the second boy was what I didn't agree, and now they're having problems with his marriage. And then the police are now coming in saying that they see me going to church and they are complaining. So I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I want them to help me. I want you to help me out.
Summarize the letter.
yes. So, but I think so please send us your number. We'll call you.
This one
It's
we
a
can
private, yes, it can be answered publicly. So she's been married for 4 years. Before they got married, the husband promised, the husband is of another faith, or she mentioned it, so it's a Muslim. And he promised to become a Christian when they got married. When they got married, the day they got married, the man's uncle stood and said, no, he can't convert and become a Christian. So after they married, they had one child. Then the husband said they should have another child. And she said no, until he becomes a Christian, it won't happen. And it's brought problems in the marriage. and now the relatives of the man are seeing her going to church and they have a problem with it. So please send us your name and your phone number, and we'll have one of the counselors talk to you privately. Okay, we have another caller on the line. If you sent us your question via text, forgive us. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from.
I'm Mami Adua, calling from Takrade.
Okay. Mami Adua, go ahead. We can hear you.
Please, if I may ask, would you advise a lady to marry a guy who has been beating her?
Who has been beating her?
Married?
Yes.
You're not yet married.
You're not yet married?
Yes.
Please just end the relationship.
No, we will not advise a lady to marry someone that's beating her. It's as simple as that.
When they marry, my beat them more.
Please end the relationship.
Okay. All right, we have another caller on the line. Good evening. You are live on Ask the Counsellors. Please reduce the volume of your TV set or your device and go ahead with your question. Okay, we lost the caller. Penny from Takrade says, I have decided to move out of my husband's house because he's a womanizer. And he says bad things about me to the girlfriends, which makes them disrespect me so much. I am really hurt. We have a child together. What do I do? What do I do?
It's a boyfriend.
Husband.
A husband, yes. But he says bad things to the girlfriends he's with.
For me, at times, some of these things, it's trying to eat your cake and still have it. Because somebody who is like that, perhaps you went in as a girlfriend, or when he was moving around, so it's a problem you have created for yourself. So moving from the man's house may not solve the problem. What does it do? Are you not going to marry again? And that kind of thing. So I think that he should go to church, get to a Bible-believing church, give his life to Christ, believe God, and let perhaps the husband also give his life to Christ and that kind of thing. If normally where there is abuse, comes home beating you, dad, and if you are not careful, you are going to die, that one will last live. But if it is morality problem, which you even began with it, for all that, he slept with you before he married you. And that trend is going on. That is why you should have known that the way this guy is sleeping with you without marrying me, when he married me, he will still find other women to marry. So he should seek God. He should get to know God. Go to a Bible-believing church, and then there are many times when a person does that. For all that you know, in the mercies of God, things begin to take place, and then things begin to fall out well for
And when
them.
they get to church, they could even bring in the pastor of the church. As she goes, the pastor can invite the guy one day. You never know what God will do with prayer.
We have another call on the line. Good evening. Tell us your name and where you are calling from. Kindly reduce the volume of your TV set or your device and go ahead with your question.
Okay. Please, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Go ahead with your question. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Please, I'm Seraphine. I'm calling from Akieni.
Okay. Go ahead, Seraphine.
Okay. Please, my question is, I am a guy, we are dating like 8 years now.
Okay.
I'm with the guy, the family know, my family know, his family, they know. The guy is the police. I stay with the guy. Sometimes the guy, nothing happens between us. But the guy is outside and just sleep with another lady. I talk, the family talk. So we go and impregnate another girl. So now the girl is there. He come back begging me and my family that I should come back. I accept and I go back. Now you go and follow another girl. I do. Because of that guy, I'm not like this guy that promise, not even promise. They just come to marry me.
Okay. Are you married to him? Or you are just staying together?
We are dating, and like he wanted to marry me.
Dating for 8 years.
8 years.
Okay. Thank you, Seraphine. Okay.
What should I do?
All right. Okay, counselors.
Don't look for another guy.
Seraphine, you want the counselors to give you advice? We don't give advice. So we help you to make an informed decision. All that we can say is the signs are there, the red flags are there. 8 years, and he's having children already outside. Don't you love your life? Don't you want to move forward? Don't you want to move forward? So please take a firm decision now that you are coming out of the relationship and get close to God. God will bring the good ones your way.
Okay, we have another caller on the line. Good evening. Yes, tell us your name and where you are calling from, and go ahead with your question. Okay. Sunyani, okay.
They already have 3 years now started or a month. To true months, not born now. But now I might take a major hour. But I'm a party in my family. I'm never be a near my family, not my healing. I'm a bear. To me, one fire, and I propose to the new man Sabbath. Made the local now for it from pain for it, someone to do. You do a true put on the way guys are the best or not put any master into our parts or anything. To know that I saw a hammy. I said, I have begged to be done to summon a mamma Nigeria, so in Union and me to see.
9 months have no jai.
I might come go to it there, but it's a man from the phone you.
Okay.
All right. Do we do so, Jaya? I think she shouldn't be under guilt. He shouldn't be under guilt. He shouldn't feel guilty. Saying, "Mama, I'm sorry," because I think the decision she took was a decision that was supposed to help them. He wanted a solution to the problem, and that kind of thing. So I think that he should, not bear the burden and say, yes, just go to church, just believe God, and that kind of thing. And I'm sure that after the guy has stayed some time, he will follow her too.
But were they in the same church before?
I think so.
Maybe so.
I think it's through prayer that the guy, I think, came to church. And then she went to inform the pastors.
So then the church can come follow her praying. The guy can come back.
Okay. This is our last question. This is from Mary from Begro. She says, my problem is I've been with my guy for 2 years now, getting to 3, and he has gone to see my family for my hand in marriage. But my mom says she won't allow that just because my father didn't take care of me. What should I do, please? We love ourselves and wish the best for ourselves, God willing. But this is the problem we are facing.
No, I don't understand the question.
So they've been together for 2 to 3 years. The man wants to marry her, has gone to ask for her hand in marriage, but her mom says she won't allow because her father didn't take care of her. I don't know how that correlates.
That means they're not together. But the lady went to see the father's family.
Okay.
And so the woman is peeved because the father didn't take care of her.
It means the father and the mother are not together.
I'm sure.
Are not together. And
if that is a scenario, then the mother is not helping her. Well, you have a daughter, getting someone to marry her, and she's taking a wrong step. At least you know that definitely the man is the father, whether took care of her or not. So if you want to do it yourself, make sure the marriage at least is facilitated, and then you solve that issue later.
If you think that you should take the uncle to represent the father or whatever, but for her to do that, it's not helping the lady.
So they should get someone to talk to the woman.
All too soon, time has come. Our show has come to an end. I still see over 25 questions coming in live as we speak. Next week, we'll come back and pick up where we left off and pick some of your questions. So if you didn't see your questions answered today, please join us next week, same time, Wednesday, 6:30. If you are trying to reach us and the lines were so busy, next week we'll come back and you can have an opportunity to interact with the counselors. Thank you once again. I'm going to hand over to Bishop Akun to pray, bring some blessing into your home. There is power in prayer. If you are struggling, God has the power to transform and change. And I pray that will be your testimony tonight. Bishop Akun, over to you.
Shall we pray? Father, we are grateful. We thank you for the privilege of tonight, even for all those who connected and those who will connect. You are the helper of humanity. You gave us your eternal spirit to help us. I commit every hearer tonight,
yes, Lord,
into your hands.
Yes, Lord.
The challenges that have surfaced tonight, that we've spoken about,
yes, Lord,
and advised about and counseled about.
Yes, Lord.
Father, step in by your spirit.
Yes, Lord.
And bring God's solution.
Yes,
and
Lord.
Bring peace and tranquility.
Yes, Lord.
Let hearts be brought closer to you.
Yes, Lord.
Even as they listen to this program.
Yes, Lord.
And let life be committed to you, the living God. And let relationships be healed. Let miracles happen where they are believing you for children. I pray wombs will respond and loins will respond.
Yes, Lord.
Let testimonies abound.
Yes, Lord.
To your praise and to your glory we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Have a good night and a blessed week. God bless you. Bye-bye.